First, I want to thank you for having us today. Before we can start the interview, I just need you to verbally agree to participating in the video, and also that this might be used for future use in classes.
Yes, that is absolutely permissible. You have my permission.
All right, thank you. All right, so first question, go ahead and introduce yourself and explain your role here.
My name is Stephen Whitlock, and I'm the Director of Housing and Residence Life, and I've been with the university for 9 years now.
Okay, thank you. So what exactly does being the Director of Housing and Residence Life mean? What exactly do you do during the day?
Wow. When my wife is asked, what does your husband do? Her response is, we have 2 legitimate kids and 3,000 illegitimate kids. So being a Director of Housing and Residence Life is a turnkey responsibility of all the responsibilities of 3,300 valuable students living on campus, the responsibility for their care, their safety, but I'm ultimately responsible for all the staffing and the business responsibilities of running a housing program.
So second question, go ahead and share your story. Tell us how exactly you got here.
All right, graduated from Eastern Illinois University and went on to get my master's in science management from the University of Alabama in Huntsville. I interviewed for open positions, wanted to stay in student affairs. I enjoyed my experience as an RA, and I interviewed up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. So I went north to the cold to interview and find some great professionals from the city of Huntsville, Alabama, and went down to Alabama. Worked there 7 years as a full-time RLC, area coordinator, worked up through the ranks, small program, 900 bed, and it was a great experience because I got to wear all the hats. I got to do a little bit of budgeting, a little bit of programming, a little bit of crisis experience. And so a smaller program, you're allowed to do, you're able to do that. And then I moved on to Mississippi State University, where I became the Associate Director for Residence Life, and I was responsible for the programmatic responsibilities of a 5,000 bed program there. I got to get some good experiences of big school, and there's some unique challenges when you start getting involved in the SEC conference, the ACC conference, and so when you're part of big athletic conferences such as that, it also has a different feel or a different climate culture on campus, and so that was a great experience. And then when I realized that I was well-rounded, was ready to take on full responsibilities of a director role in support and consultation with my director at Mississippi State, together she helped me identify good fits where I might be able to excel, and we landed at the University of West Georgia, and she was able to prep me, to guide me, to mentor me to earn this job. And so I've now been at the University of West Georgia for 9 full years, and it's been a great experience. I've been able to accomplish a lot of things that I wanted to have in my career, such as building new residence halls, changing the financial bottom line for ultimately for a better programming experience for our residents and for our staff, and so have been able to make a number of those accomplishments during my career here at West Georgia.
So why don't you identify your target market in terms of housing residence life, and how exactly do you reach them? What outlets do you use?
Yeah, great question. Oh, my target market is absolutely clearly incoming first-year students, which are primarily identified as freshmen. We value and have a mission statement to support the transition from being a student in high school to a student that's matriculating onto college, and that transition from living at home with parents to living on your own, so to speak. And so that is our primary target market. About 40% of our market is returning students as well. So we do have some sophomores and juniors that live on campus. They are filling in what is left after we establish what are a first choice selections for freshmen. Why do we do that? Because we're also competing against many other institutions across the Southeast and across the country. And when our freshmen are looking around at where they can go, we know housing is one of those ¡1 indicators. And so as much as I would love to focus and say I focus on the true retention of our current students, the truth is we really focus on the attraction of new incoming students. And so that's how we give back to the institution deeper than just having a quality housing program, is to help attract more students to go west. Did I answer your question fully?
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you.
How do you personally define success?
Oh, wow. I think I really define success by, I'm going to start with workplace engagement, employee engagement. I really, really do. I spend most of my time thinking about the staff that I'm responsible for. That is a sincere statement. I care if they can come to work every day and enjoy their job. I know that they're going to ultimately take care of our true customer, and that's the residents. I don't have the greatest impact on the true customer being the resident. I have the impact on the employees. I define success, unfortunately, in a business sense, my financials as well. I have to make sure that this place is able to run, the bills are able to be paid, and that I can keep college affordable. I have a very, very big piece of that. Not I personally, but housing has a big piece of that affordability, and college is not always as affordable as it used to be. And so I define success when our numbers go up, when we are able to attract more freshmen. But I actually have what's called key performance indicators, and one of our annual goals is the returning student application fee. How many students come to our November 15th, there's a quick plug for some marketing, how many people come to our room sign-up event on November 15th? We measure that number annually, and last year it went up by 200 students. It's not November 15th yet this year, it's around the corner, we'll see if our numbers go up, but for a student to dig into their pocket and pull out a $50 bill, so to speak, and ask to live on campus and come to that event and try to find a place to live is a determining factor of whether we're doing a good job in housing a resident's life or not. Because if they don't want to live on campus, there's nothing keeping them. There are some great off-campus markets, and so I define success in a business matter of key performance indicators, and I've got about 5 of them on my scorecard that we measure annually. We also measure chats. How many conversations are my RAs, my resident advisors, having with residents? We count those things. We count programs, we count incidences, and we count a number of things to identify success. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So given that your inventory is different than most businesses, for example, it being spaces, how exactly do you keep your inventory fresh? And how exactly do you sell those that aren't very popular or aren't selling as well?
That's a great question. We have inventory. We have a product. It's a room. How do I keep inventory fresh? There's a couple of questions in there. I hope I can remember them all. I keep it fresh by making sure that the renovations stay on top of it. We have a 2-painter in-house crew, and I outsource about $100,000 worth of painting a year. Painting is one of the #1 things we do to keep our product fresh. Floors, I manage the carpet and the LVT, the luxury vinyl tile that we put in our facilities on a 5 to 10 year cycle of refreshing to make sure that it stays current and fresh. I make sure the HVAC systems stay current and they're not making noise. We refresh our blinds on a recurring basis as well. We did a complete blind refresh about 2 years ago. It had been about 6 years before that they were installed. I have to look at our facilities and I tell my staff, an outsider walking in, what's the first impression? So we look at the front door, we look at the lobbies, we look at the walk-off mats, we look at the hallways. Just yesterday, we repainted the entire Bowden entry because we have preview day this Sunday. I want that first impression to look positive, and so I don't even know that our residents see those little things that happen quickly behind the scenes on a daily basis to keep our inventory fresh. I think you asked the question, what do I do for inventory that is not so fresh? We have some of those halls. We have done some pilot tests in our older facility to replace the bathroom fixtures to see if we can freshen the appearance up a little better. But really, sometimes the analogy of putting lipstick on a pig cannot be helped. It is what it is. And it takes millions of dollars to replace it. And that's called renovation, that's called new construction. I work on that on a daily basis. But what do I do until I'm able to replace it or renovate it? I make the price point pleasing. If you look at my current stock right now, you'll see a range of about $600 to $800 range right now. And so I hope that the person that is trying to make college affordable and maybe can't afford my top end product can look at the bottom and say, you know what, at least I'm getting a price break for it. And there are many people, I would say myself included, when I'm out there buying a house, I want to buy something, so I want to slide down. I don't need the most expensive piece. I don't need the most freshest product. I need something what's more important to me is my bottom line. I just want to be safe. And so really at the end of the day, I don't cheat on or skimp. That was the word I was trying to come to mind. I don't skimp on safety, on security, and the quality of my staff. And so you're going to find our resident ratios in those buildings a little higher sometimes than our newer facilities. Because safety and security has to be maintained at the highest integrity possible. So I take that very seriously. I have a product that has to be refreshed or my customers are not going to choose University of West Georgia. They're going to choose other institutions. So it is my job to attract, and we take great pride in that. And we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a year on keeping our product fresh.
If you're willing to share, how exactly would you describe your growth rate and or profits here at Housing and Residence Life?
Oh, wow. I'm going to pull from memory. It is open records, and so I am happy to share the actual bottom line spreadsheets with you. Don't have them in front of me at this minute, but let me just pull from memory. So we're right at a $20 million operation. We do not get any state funded. We operate like a business on this campus. Revenue in, rental rates, expenses out, utilities, staffing, even rent payments, lease payments. So these brand new residence halls, Center Point Oaks, for example, they have like a mortgage. The difference between this mortgage and your home mortgage is the rate goes up every year. It doesn't go down. So that is the largest part of my job. And even though student life is important, I hire good staff to focus on that. At the end of the day, I really have to watch the numbers. And if the dollars don't come in, there's no one to bail the department out. And I probably ultimately begin being held accountable and losing my job if I don't balance the books. We're not looking to make money. We're looking to sustain an operation. I talked about keeping housing affordable. I talked about us being almost a $19.8, $20 million operation. Our goal is to net roughly about $1 million on our bottom line at the end of the year before what I call year-end projects. So if we can close the year out at a couple $100,000 on the bottom line, $200,000, I'm happy. It goes into what's called a reserve. Housing maintains a reserve, and that added dollars is what accumulates and allows us to do large-scale projects. Some of my air conditioning projects cost upwards of $1 million to $2 million to overhaul a building. If my annual profit's only $1 million, I would never be able to fix the air conditioning unit. And so the reserve is that extra pot of money that we work off of. But on an annual basis, I just said we have $1 million bottom line, then I do carpet replacement, I do cleaning. Center Point alone was $60,000 to refresh the paint last year. Greek Village exterior painting right now is $120,000 on my desk. LVT flooring in suites 2 and 3 is on my desk right now. They want me to replace it at about $180,000 a building. So I bring all those requests come into me, and I just shared $1 million bottom line. I want to end the year at $200,000. What is $800,000 worth of projects I want to do between the months of March and June 30th, which is when our year ends. So I say we net $1 million, but I also make every effort to spend about $800,000 of that on refreshing. We take pride in our security cameras, upgrading our assets such as golf carts so our staff can move around campus. All of those go into my year-end project list. So again, $20 million, we profit about $1 million. I spent about $800,000 of that. My goal is to end the year at about $200,000 that I put into a pot of money called a reserve. And that reserve builds up money over time, and then I deplete it when I do a major project. It builds money over time, I deplete it when I do a major project. So it's an ebb and flow, and it is one of the largest responsibilities I have to maintain and make sure that when a major crisis happens on this campus and I have to displace a couple hundred students, do I have the money to pay the hotel bill that I didn't plan on? And we have been able to do that over the years. No questions asked. We go ahead and outsource those costs and pay for those responsibilities. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Did you learn anything today?
Yeah.
You learned some things? Man, I don't think I knew this.
No, I'm just getting extra footage. I'm just fucking.
Oh.